When she saw me standing in the corner, she was wrapping her arm around her paramour's waist at the company's annual party. Her paramour squeezed her rear and chuckled, "Your husband's like a dog." Instead, she hugged him tighter. "Wasn't he just like this when he lived off my family? Now I am just replacing him with a more obedient toy." Their glasses clinked together, and she deliberately let her ring brush against his hand. "Let him see who truly belongs by my side." On the day we were supposed to get officially married, my girlfriend stood me up again, claiming she was busy. When I got home, I received her marriage certificate with her male assistant, dated for that very day. I smiled, placed the marriage certificate on the desk, and turned to break up with her. The next moment, my girlfriend's phone call came through, impatiently. She asked, "Ethan, what are you doing? You're an adult, why are you still playing these games?" I was about to speak when I heard her assistant's sobbing plea from the other end of the line. "Scarlett, has Ethan misunderstood us? You should come home quickly, I'll be fine on my own, ignore him. He's always pulling these stunts, it's so annoying, what matters most right now." My girlfriend's comforting voice reached my ears. The call ended, and I completely gave up hope. As I was packing my suitcase, planning to move out, my girlfriend Scarlett walked in, protectively escorting her young assistant, Justin. "Ethan, hurry and make Justin a warm, sweet drink. He just fainted from low blood sugar." Scarlett's gaze was fixed on Justin, her face full of worry, and without even lifting her head, she ordered me loudly. I glanced up, but instead of responding and greeting her as I used to, I continued what I was doing. Seeing my lack of response, Scarlett finally frowned and looked up. "Ethan, can't you understand me?" She paused, startled by my actions. Then, her face darkening, she quickly walked over. "Ethan, what do you mean? Are you really packing your suitcase and breaking up with me?" My hands didn't stop. I drawled, "Is a breakup ever fake?" "You." Scarlett choked on my indifferent attitude, her eyes fixed coldly on me. "What about me?" I curled my lip, quickly glancing at Justin. "Didn't you bring your husband home? I should make room for him, shouldn't I?" "Ethan, what? What do you mean? I don't understand." Scarlett visibly tensed up, her gaze started to dart away. I scoffed and threw the marriage certificate in her face. "Are you serious, Scarlett? You do something and then you can't own up to it." Seeing the two marriage certificates, she completely panicked, roaring, furious and ashamed. "Ethan, what trick are you playing? How did this marriage certificate get into your hands?" I gave her a tight, humorless smile but said nothing. In the tense standoff, Justin spoke up, his voice choked with tears. "Scarlett, I sent it to the wrong address. It's all my fault that getting officially married to me made you argue with Ethan." As he spoke, he even started to sob. "Justin, it's not your fault." Scarlett's expression instantly changed. With deep concern, she went to Justin and protectively guided him inside. "Since you know, I won't hide it from you. Justin was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer 2 days ago. He doesn't have much time left, and his last wish is to marry me. You know Justin has been with me since he graduated, always helping me through difficulties. He's not just my assistant, he's my friend. I can't stand by and do nothing when a friend is in trouble. Once he's gone, well, get officially married. Ethan, you understand, don't you?" Scarlett looked at me expectantly. I looked away and spoke dismissively. "He's your assistant and friend, but more importantly, he's your husband. You should discuss things with him, not me. It won't do any good." Seeing my firm stance, she frowned again. "Ethan, is this really necessary? How can you be so heartless? I already told you I'll marry you. Does it matter if it's sooner or later? Justin is sick. What right do you have to be so cold to him?" Justin lowered his head in sync, tears streaming down his face. I stopped what I was doing and looked up at the two standing side by side. They truly made a perfect pair, playing off each other like that. I suddenly burst out laughing, watching the woman I once loved care for another man so tenderly. It would be a lie to say my heart didn't ache, but our relationship was already so tainted. I didn't want to get entangled with her any longer. "Fine, I am heartless, I'll leave right away, and won't be an eyesore to him." I nodded in response, then quickly grabbed my suitcase and left. As I passed Scarlett, she suddenly reached out and grabbed me, her words laced with cruelty. "Ethan, that's enough. Apologize to Justin right now, and I'll pretend this never happened. Otherwise," I cut her off, scoffing, "otherwise what? I should never come back begging you." and apologize to him. Does he even deserve it? Scarlett's face completely darkened, the warning in her voice unmistakable. Ethan, that's enough. I am giving you one last chance. Apologize to Justin. Otherwise, don't blame me for turning against you. In the tense standoff, Justin tugged on Scarlett's wrist, feigning understanding. Scarlett, don't be angry with Ethan. He's not wrong. I am the one at fault. I should be the one to leave. Seeing this, Scarlett immediately let go of me to comfort him. Seizing the opportunity, I pulled my suitcase and left without looking back. Before I even stepped out, Scarlett's icy voice rang out clearly again. Ethan, if you walk out that door today, don't ever think about coming back. I'd like to see what kind of wonderful life a loser like you can have without me. I still stopped, turning to look back. It wasn't out of reluctance or regret. I just wanted to clearly see how revolting the face of the girl I once loved so deeply had become. Once I saw it, I left without looking back. Scarlett was once the one I loved but couldn't have, and she was my everything. She had always been the high and mighty Sterling family's eldest daughter, while I was just a nobody buried in the dust. We met at Crestwood University, but we had no interaction. Every day, I'd follow her every move, to classes, from classes, to meals, on walks, eventually, just to see her more often. I studied even harder, and transferred my major to her department. Before today, I was most grateful for my decision to transfer my major, because that decision advanced my relationship with Scarlett. At that time, Professor Davis told us that if we didn't want to fail the course, we should form teams and run data in the lab. I was always a top student in the class, and Scarlett, rejecting everyone who tried to get closer to her, specifically asked to be on my team. I still remember how thrilled I was at that moment, looking at her exquisite, beautiful face. My heart raced like crazy, and my cheeks flushed deep crimson. Scarlett rested her chin in her hand, looking at me with a mischievous glint in her eyes, and teased, Ethan, if you keep staring, the bell for class to end will ring. The whole class burst into laughter. I snapped back to reality, lowering my head, feeling utterly mortified. But Scarlett wasn't mocking me. She diffused the situation, saying, everyone, stop laughing. It's my honor to be successfully teamed up with Ethan. And just like that, our relationship grew closer and closer. Eventually, Scarlett even confessed her feelings to me. We spent 3.5 wonderful years together at Crestwood University. We were the golden couple everyone envied. But even with a relationship, I didn't neglect my studies. I always had a full scholarship, and even received an offer from a major tech firm after graduation. But Scarlett was the only daughter in her family, and she had to go home to inherit the family business. Seeing her sad gaze, unwilling to be separated from me, I rejected a job opportunity most people could only dream of without a second thought. I joined Sterling Industries with her, helping her establish herself and secure her position at Sterling Industries with all my effort and strategies, to avoid anyone saying I used connections. I simply started from the very bottom. Our relationship grew more stable, and I felt the time was right, so I proposed to her. But I proposed multiple times, and each time she refused. When I asked why, she was always evasive. Later, I found out she already had Justin by her side at that time. Justin was younger than me, more energetic, and better at pleasing her. Gradually, my conversations with Scarlett shifted from wide-ranging topics to her daily routine with Justin. It wasn't that I didn't notice her changes. I tried to salvage things many times, but her heart was no longer with me. No matter what reason I used to try and keep her, a single call from Justin would send her rushing to him. No matter the weather, all the care and patience she once had for me, she gave to Justin. Her attitude towards me was nothing but cold stares and complaints. Yet, despite all this, I still didn't want to let go. I proposed to her again. This time, she agreed. But on the day we were supposed to get officially married, she abandoned me again for Justin. The moment I saw their marriage certificate, I knew, this time, I really needed to wake up. Returning to my parents' old rundown apartment, leaning against the wall with the portraits of his parents, I finally couldn't hold back and burst into tears. After venting, I tidied up the place, then went out to buy groceries and household essentials, and settled in. Lying on that childhood bed, my restless heart suddenly found peace. I had the best sleep I'd had in a long time, free from worrying if Scarlett was in a bad mood, or if she was well fed and warmly dressed. In my dream, I saw my long-deceased parents. Before I could even say a few proper words to them, the dream turned bitter again. Scarlett, in my dream, questioned why I was so hostile towards Justin. She tugged at my sleeve, telling me to apologize to him. A fiery anger ignited within me. Just as I was about to retort, I was woken by an urgent ringing. Drowsily, I answered the phone, and the next moment, I heard Scarlett's furious questioning voice. Ethan, where the hell are you? Did you forget about the company's contract signing reception today? Everyone else showed up as couples, but my partner is nowhere to be found. You're intentionally trying to embarrass me, aren't you? I was fully awake now, suppressing my impatience. I held the phone away from my ear. If that's what you think, then fine, Ethan. Scarlett suddenly raised her voice, and then I heard footsteps through the receiver. She must have moved to a different spot to take the call. She sighed, then softened her tone. Ethan, today is a big deal for the company. Can you please stop being difficult? Come over quickly. The signing ceremony is about to start. I'll explain everything properly after tonight's reception, okay? She spoke to me in a conciliatory tone, and for a moment, my grip on the phone loosened. Before I could speak, I heard a burst of playful teasing from her end. Oh, Assistant Justin looks just like a groom today. He really does. If you look closely, Assistant Justin's outfit today is truly a match for our Scarlett. Justin spoke with a hint of shyness. Don't be silly, I just threw something on. Seeing I didn't reply for a long time, Scarlett called my name again. I scoffed. Scarlett, isn't your partner already there? Don't contact me again. Without waiting for her reply, I quickly hung up, because I knew if I didn't hang up, my sadness would become uncontrollable. I didn't want to dwell on the past, but 5 years of shared moments had completely permeated my life. So many days and nights I had spent loving her. I had never thought about how I would live without her. The old her would have put me first, would have promised me forever. But the current her no longer needed me. Tears streamed down my face, wetting the pillow, and I jolted awake from my memories. The pain in my heart was unbearable, but before I could process my emotions, the door was pounded violently. My subconscious reaction was that she was here, my actions moving faster than my thoughts. When I opened the door barefoot, I realized how ridiculous I had just been. Ethan, it really is you, back. Mrs. Henderson from the Neighborhood Association was delighted to see me, enthusiastically patting my shoulder. Yes, Mrs. Henderson, I am back. Is there something you need? Oh, right. I just got caught up reminiscing, Mrs. Henderson said, her expression turning serious. Ethan, you should quickly go downstairs and see. There are a few black luxury cars blocking the intersection right now, saying they're looking for you. Our neighborhood roads are narrow to begin with, and now neighbors can't even get in and out normally. I frowned and followed Mrs. Henderson downstairs, and right at the front, I saw Scarlett's black luxury car parked at the intersection. When they saw me, a bodyguard opened the car door, and Scarlett stepped out, wearing heels. I turned to leave, but behind me, Scarlett's cold voice snapped, Ethan, stop right there. I ignored her and quickened my pace, but the next second, her personal bodyguard blocked my way. Ethan, what do you mean by this? Scarlett caught up to me, still in her heels, and slapped me across the face without any explanation, it going too far. I turned my face to look at her, the love in my eyes long gone. She froze for a moment, then spoke coldly. Do you have any idea I left a room full of guests just to come get you? Now, come with me. I didn't want to deal with her, but the neighborhood alley was quickly filling with curious neighbors. Though I didn't want to be with Scarlett, I wanted even less to be the center of attention. After weighing the pros and cons, I, still in my pajamas, walked towards Scarlett's car, the rear window lowered, revealing Justin in formal attire. He said to me, apologetically, Ethan, I am sorry, I am not feeling well, so Scarlett asked me to sit in the back with her. I am sorry you have to take the passenger seat. Scarlett followed, and seeing my gaze fixed on Justin in the back, her expression became a little awkward. She pulled open the back door for me, trying to smooth things over for Justin. Justin isn't feeling well, so I took him out for a drive. You don't mind, do you, Ethan? There's plenty of room in the back. The three of us can sit together. I quickly looked away, and got into the passenger seat. I don't mind. Scarlett was clearly displeased by my attitude. She opened her mouth, but ultimately said nothing. She slammed the back door shut and coldly commanded, drive. As the car started moving, the neighbors continued to follow it curiously. Scarlett's face darkened even further because of this. She spoke unpleasantly, I can't believe people actually live in such a filthy, messy place. Wearing a designer gown and coming to a place like this is truly disgraceful. Hearing her words, I glared at her through the rearview mirror and retorted sarcastically, since he's so precious, Mr. Sterling, you really shouldn't have come today. Seeing this, Justin pitifully said, Scarlett, did I make Ethan angry again by coming out with you? Maybe I should switch places with him. Scarlett glared at me in the rearview mirror and said viciously, you stay right there. Let's see what he can do to you. I pretended not to hear, looked away, and closed my eyes to rest, conserving my energy for the tough battle ahead. Scarlett, since you won't let me go easily, don't blame me for resorting to my own methods. The car stopped at a hotel owned by Sterling Industries. Still fuming, Scarlett got out of the car as soon as it stopped and walked away. Her bodyguards were always right behind me, so she wasn't worried I'd try to escape. After I slowly got out of the car, Justin approached me with a mocking smirk. He had shed his usual timid demeanor, arrogantly blocking my path. Ethan, don't get ahead of yourself. Scarlett is my wife now, it's just the insignificant other man. Just wait, I'll be the one standing by her side, smiling in the end. Well then, congratulations, Assistant Justin, on finally going from rags to riches. I clapped, my face full of derision, as I brushed past him and walked inside. I knew that Scarlett's insistence on me attending the signing event today wasn't because she cared about me. It was because the leading corporation signing with Sterling Industries today was a deal I had negotiated. The leadership of that leading corporation only recognized my abilities, and specifically stated that all business dealings between the two companies had to be handled by me. Otherwise, all talks were off. If I didn't show up today, that leading corporation would realize their words were ignored, and the multi-billion-dollar project would be doomed to fail. That's why Scarlett lowered herself to personally pick me up from the rundown part of the city. Just as I reached the entrance to the banquet hall, Scarlett walked over from the side, frowning. She eyed my cheap pajamas from top to bottom, her face full of disdain. Are you really planning to show up like that? Isn't that embarrassing enough? After her taunt, she dragged me into the backstage dressing room. She picked out a suit that matched her white dress and tossed it to me. Then, she arrogantly ordered the makeup artist and stylist, get him ready, quickly. I was like a doll, being pulled and prodded by various people. Looking at myself in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. Now he looks somewhat decent, Scarlett remarked sharply, standing behind me, with her arms crossed. Hearing her tone, I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Honestly, I truly didn't care about these external appearances. After all, tonight would be my last night in her circle. Since tonight was the last night, I genuinely didn't care how others saw me. After I was dressed, Scarlett forcefully linked her arm through mine and walked into the banquet hall. The lights illuminated us the moment we stepped inside. The surrounding chatter and clinking of glasses ceased. I felt a bit disoriented, as if this was more like my wedding with Scarlett. Sure enough, the host's voice confirmed my suspicion the next second. He cleared his throat, and in a high-pitched voice, began to read vows blessing everlasting love. He then announced that the signing event would take place after Scarlett's engagement ceremony. As the host's last word faded, I finally snapped out of my shock. I tried forcefully to shake Scarlett off, but she clung to my arm. Ethan, you'd better cooperate with me today. Her voice was filled with an unmistakable warning. I scoffed and used all my strength to shake her off. As everyone watched the drama unfold with surprised gazes, I stated calmly, this engagement ceremony today is a play Ms. Lee has orchestrated herself. I was not aware of it, nor do I approve. Ms. Scarlett and I no longer have any relationship. She and her assistant, Mr. Justin, are already officially married. I do not make a habit of breaking up other people's families. Finally, I formally announce that as of today, I am no longer an employee of Sterling Industries, and I will not be involved in any of Sterling Industries' future business affairs. Finally, I smiled at Scarlett and said, I've resigned. The breach of contract penalty has already been transferred to your account. From now on, we will never see each other again. Scarlett stood frozen in place, staring blankly at me, her hands tightly clutching her skirt. Then, I turned and walked away. The signing party saw I wasn't joking. Angrily, they threw down their glasses, uttered, what a joke, and swept out. All the invited smaller businesses at the banquet stayed, waiting to watch the drama unfold further. Just as I was about to push the door open, Scarlett finally reacted. She ran towards me, yelling orders as she came. Ethan, stop right there. Again, bodyguards blocked me. I had no choice but to stop and turn to look at her. Scarlett tugged at me, saying tearfully, Ethan, how could you do this to me? Didn't we have an understanding? Justin walked over just then. Looking at her struggling, he cautiously said, Scarlett, I don't feel well, will you stay with me? Scarlett didn't even glance at him, looking at me expectantly instead. Ethan, stop acting out, and please don't be angry with me anymore, okay? The scene fell silent for a moment as everyone held up their phones, frantically recording. I kindly reminded her, but Scarlett acted as if she hadn't heard me, clinging to me, and refusing to let go. I suddenly lost my temper and sneered, Scarlett, you might be shameless, but I am not. Either one who dumped me to get officially married to someone else. I let go to give you what you wanted, but you also the one clinging to me for dear life, refusing to let go. What exactly do you want? No, Ethan, it's not like that. I've always loved you. I'll divorce Justin right away, and we can go get officially married. At this point, Scarlett clearly knew I wasn't just acting out, tears streaming down her face. She looked up at me hopefully. I met her gaze emotionlessly, my impatience almost palpable. Once upon a time, if she shed a single tear, I'd blame myself for days. But now, looking at her crocodile tears, I felt utterly disgusted. I said coldly, Scarlett, you truly are heartless. Your new husband is yearning for you to look back at him, yet you're clinging to me in front of him, making a scene. As a man, how humiliating must this be for him right now? As I spoke, I provocatively glanced at Justin. Scarlett's eyebrows furrowed tightly at my words, and she signaled her bodyguards to pull Justin away. No matter how Justin cried out, she wouldn't spare him a glance. She just kept crying and promising me, Ethan, my future husband will only be you. I made a mistake this time, and I'll never do it again. Honestly, if my old self had heard those words, I would have given her my life, but now, I pushed her away with utter disdain. Sterling Industries is a powerful and wealthy family business. You wouldn't want it ruined in your hands, would you? If you don't care about Sterling Industries stock plummeting, I don't mind continuing this struggle here with you. As I finished speaking, Scarlett finally let go, trembling. I then pushed open the main door and quickly walked away. I didn't expect Scarlett to still come after me. Her heels had long been lost, leaving a trail of bloody footprints where she ran. I calmly averted my gaze, quietly waiting for the rideshare to arrive. When she saw me, she rushed forward, trying to throw herself into my arms, but seeing my cold gaze, she tearfully stopped. Ethan, I've thought about it. Nothing is more important than you. My dad is at Sterling Industries. He'll handle everything for me. She sounded very sincere. I understood her implied meaning. Seeing that I didn't respond with sarcasm, she cautiously walked over and took my hand, looking up at me, her eyes full of tears. She pouted, Ethan, my feet hurt so much. I didn't reply, looking past her to what was behind her. If your feet hurt, you should complain to your actual husband, not drag your ex into it. Hearing my words, Scarlett became agitated, but then she quickly calmed down. She pressed her advantage, putting her arms around my waist. Ethan, stop being sarcastic with me. I know I made a mistake. I truly do. I even chased after you. Can't you feel how much I love you? I lowered my gaze and quietly looked at her for a moment. Her love for me? No. As the Sterling family's eldest daughter, she had always been someone who was always pampered and flattered. It was my constant rejections that fueled her desire to conquer. But once she had me, I would immediately become something she'd quickly grow tired of. Your husband is watching you. Aren't you going to comfort him? It's not a good look for your legitimate husband to be showing such a heartbreaking expression, is it? Scarlett sharply turned her head. Justin stepped forward and embraced her. Scarlett, don't go with him. Let's go home, okay? Scarlett, don't do anything else that makes me look down on you. Once you make a choice, there's no room for regret, I continued, twisting the knife. Scarlett, from this day forward, I never want to see you again. Perhaps my repeated rejections wounded her pride. She pushed Justin away, instead linking her arm through his, and glared at me with a gloomy expression. Ethan, you're truly ungrateful and shameless. When I was trying to persuade you kindly, you didn't appreciate it. You just had to provoke me. Fine then. So we'll never see each other again. Ha. I'd like to see which company would dare hire someone Sterling Industries publicly rejects. I retorted. We'll see about that. The farce at Sterling Industries banquet made the trending news that very night. My phone number was leaked by someone, and that night, my phone crashed from constant calls from gossip-hungry reporters. I'd block one batch, and another would immediately call in. Having no other choice, I went to the phone company's store early the next morning to cancel our joint phone account with Scarlett. The world finally returned to peace. Just as I was planning to settle down and live a quiet life, Scarlett resorted to her old tricks again. She led 3 cars, completely blocking the intersection of my neighborhood, threatening that if I didn't go with her, she'd stay in the cars indefinitely. By now, I wasn't afraid of the neighbors gawking anymore. I was only afraid that such a big commotion would attract reporters staking out the place. If that happened, my peaceful days would be completely over. Fuming with rage, I got into her car. When she saw me, a flicker of light flashed in Scarlett's eyes, but it quickly settled into calm. I caught it. I observed her calmly. Scarlett, have you forgotten what you said that day? What business brings you here today? My attitude was distant and cold. She lowered her eyes and said softly, Ethan, my dad is in the hospital. He wants to see you. She had lost the arrogant demeanor of that night, so I remained silent. We arrived at the hospital in silence. Mr. Sterling lay pale on the hospital bed. Dad, Scarlett whispered, standing half a step behind me, wringing her fingers. Mr. Sterling responded indifferently. That single syllable carried a strong sense of pressure. I glanced sideways at Scarlett, whose head was bowed even lower. I knew these small gestures were her telltale signs of nervousness and fear. In the past, I would have already taken her hand and told her not to be afraid, that I would handle everything. But now, I moved aside, sprawled out on the leather couch, and fearlessly met the eyes of the head of Sterling Industries. Mr. Sterling, what can I do for you? Let's get straight to the point. I presume Ethan is aware of the recent plunge in Sterling Industries stock. I've asked Ethan to come today with no other request than for him to marry my daughter as soon as possible, Mr. Sterling said, then covered his mouth and coughed repeatedly. Though weak, the undisputed authority in his voice was clear. The caregiver by his side stepped forward to rub his back. Scarlett wanted to step forward but didn't dare, her gaze instinctively turning to me for help. I calmly averted my gaze and said indifferently, Is Carter Holdings making things difficult for Sterling Industries? Carter Holdings was the leading corporation that had taken an interest in my abilities, and was only willing to sign a contract with me. Mr. Sterling finally stopped coughing. Ethan, you are a smart man. I smiled. I finally understood completely. Sterling Industries wasn't as powerful as Carter Holdings. Having offended Carter Holdings, they had no way to reconcile, and knowing Carter Holdings greatly admired me, they decided to use me. From beginning to end, I was nothing more than a tool for their superiors, treated as a mere tool with no regard for my rights. What do you say, Ethan? I've already ended my daughter's ridiculous marriage. Now, all you have to do is nod, and you can live happily ever after with her. Scarlett looked at me with immense hope, tears glistening in her eyes. I looked at her and smiled, saying each word clearly. Sorry, I never take someone else's leftovers. The words had barely left my mouth when Mr. Sterling, furious, threw his glass of water at Scarlett. Useless thing. This is all the trouble you caused with your misdeeds. Don't you know your place? And you dare to flaunt yourself in front of me? Mr. Sterling was scolding implicitly, his gaze constantly flicking to me. Scarlett's forehead immediately began bleeding profusely, yet she still raised her tear-streaked face and stared at me stubbornly. Seeing her injured, my heart was calm as still water. I said nothing, just watched coldly, then scoffed, and turned to leave. Mr. Sterling had never been ignored by a junior like this. His long-held sense of superiority was now replaced by frustration. He sprang from the bed in a furious rage, cursing uncontrollably. Scarlett defied her father for the first time just to catch up to me. She sobbed repeatedly. Ethan, there are no more obstacles between us. Are you really unwilling to marry me? If you know, then get lost. Fresh from dealing with her father, I was still fuming with rage. Hearing this, Scarlett painfully shook her head, tugging at my sleeve and repeating, Ethan, you never used to treat me like this. Is there really no chance for us anymore? I've already divorced him. It's always been you I love, but I don't love you anymore. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Ethan, you loved me so much once. Have you forgotten all that? Scarlett was hysterical, confronting me. I pressed my lips together and looked at her. You know that was in the past. right? The person I loved is already dead in my heart. My words were like a thorn, piercing deep into Scarlett's heart. She clutched her head in pain, continually whispering no, no. My patience had completely run out. I wasn't in the mood to listen to her remorse, so I abruptly pushed her away and turned to leave. Scarlett fell to the ground, screaming and crying hysterically behind me. I frowned deeply and strode away. After that day, I lost contact with Scarlett. I didn't specifically follow Sterling Industries' activities, but I still saw the latest news about them on TV. To appease the enraged Carter Holdings, Sterling Industries paid a hefty breach of contract penalty, forced to lay off a large number of long-term employees to cut costs. Immediately, complaints arose from all levels within Carter Holdings, and negative news about Sterling Industries poured in like a tidal wave. If Sterling Industries didn't have such a strong foundation, it would have almost ceased to exist during that crisis. I felt nothing. It was all Scarlett's own doing. Just as ID had enough of idling and decided to study abroad, Carter Holdings somehow got my phone number, and their senior management personally called to extend an olive branch. It would be a lie to say I wasn't tempted, but considering that joining Carter Holdings might mean dealing with Scarlett again someday, I politely declined Mr. Carter's offer. I contacted my former professor from Crestwood University to inquire about studying abroad. My former professor was a bit surprised when he learned I wanted to study abroad, then expressed regret that I had missed the opportunity to join a major tech firm, before finally reassuring me that it wasn't too late to work hard now. Ethan, you're promising talent. Your future achievements will surely surpass mine, Professor Davis remarked. I made my former professor proud by passing the extremely difficult entrance exam on my first try, and was accepted into a prestigious East Coast university. Professor Davis was so happy that he contacted all the students from my graduating class to throw a grand banquet for everyone. It was at this class reunion that Scarlett and I met again. Seeing her again, I froze for a full minute, unable to react. It was Scarlett who first broke the silence. Ethan, long time no see. She walked over, a smile on her face, but it didn't reach her eyes. I pursed my lips, lowering my gaze, unsure what to say. Seeing my scrutinizing look, she gave a self-deprecating smile. I must look really awful now, don't I? Not really, just a bit worn out, I replied truthfully. Perhaps my attitude towards her that last day had been too harsh, because even though I was speaking to her calmly now, her eyes suddenly welled up. Ethan, I thought you didn't even want to say a word to me anymore, she said in a muffled voice. Taking a step towards me, I instinctively stepped back, frowning slightly. You're overthinking it. As long as you maintain some distance, I don't mind continuing to be old classmates. My evasive movement made Scarlett freeze, the sorrow in her eyes threatening to drown anyone who looked. I suddenly felt irritated. Let's stop reminiscing here. Go inside. Professor Davis has already arrived. I tossed that out and entered the private room ahead of her. Amidst the congratulations from my many classmates, I gradually started to feel tipsy. After a few rounds of drinks, Professor Davis excused himself, claiming he couldn't drink anymore, and left first. Everyone understood that Professor Davis was giving us long unseen young people space to let loose and celebrate. We all gathered, chatting about everything under the sun. Gradually, the conversation shifted from a wide range of topics to me. I smiled, answering each question, but when everyone brought up that Scarlett and I were considered the golden couple, I couldn't help but let my expression turn cold. I raised my glass, toasting Scarlett from a distance. Scarlett is the heiress of Sterling Industries. I wasn't worthy of her, but I still want to thank her. Scarlett is truly a good person. She taught me how to be an independent man. I drained the glass, then changed the subject. Let's talk about something else. We don't want to make our campus belle uncomfortable. Many people knew we had broken up, and seeing the awkward atmosphere, they all laughed and played along, helping me change the subject. But a few people who had once pursued Scarlett, unaware of the situation, kept pushing us to play couples games. Seeing that I had put down my glass and wasn't engaging further, Scarlett stepped in to help me. Ethan's had a bit too much to drink tonight. Let's skip the games for now and just chat casually. The others wouldn't let up. Scarlett also came over to my side, urged on by everyone. Someone pushed her, and she fell directly into my arms. I instinctively jerked back, but Scarlett quickly wrapped her arms around the back of my neck. She looked at me with a pleading expression. The classmates on the side were cheering for us to kiss, and she actually moved her lips towards mine. Just as it was about to happen, my patience reached its limit. I pried her fingers open, took a step back, and put some distance between us. My face grim, I stated, "Enough, Scarlett, it's one thing for others not to know our situation and joke around, but don't you understand?" "Ethan." Scarlett bit her lower lip, looking at me pitifully. I ignored her, turning to everyone and saying, "Scarlett and I broke up a long time ago. The reason we broke up is that she officially married another man behind my back." Amidst everyone's shocked gazes, I spoke again. "Sorry, I've had a bit too much to drink, I'll be leaving now. I couldn't stand this suffocating space any longer." I pushed open the door and ran away as if escaping. I had never imagined Scarlett could be so tenacious. I actually started to miss the way she used to be, arrogantly dismissive of everything. "Scarlett, are you ever going to stop?" I stopped, saying with frustration, "Chasing me like this will only make me dislike you more." Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "Ethan, I know you're going abroad, and I know I can't keep you. I just want to look at you a few more times while I still can." I closed my eyes, swallowed all my emotions, and said relatively calmly, "I saw Justin's social media feed. Aren't you two back together? You even went to the place we once planned to visit. That's really good. I wish you both the best." "No, it's not." Scarlett took an agitated step closer to me, but realizing my expression had turned cold again, she lowered her gaze and took a step back. "Justin and I are completely over. He wasn't sick. He lied to me. It's my fault. It's all my fault. Ethan, I truly regret it." Tears streamed silently down her face, and her shoulders trembled uncontrollably. If time could turn back, I would certainly have pulled her into my arms and gently comforted her. Alas, the past cannot be relived. "Scarlett, I don't care about any of this anymore. Let me go, and let yourself go too." The day I left the country, it rained in the city. I dragged my suitcase into the airport, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw Scarlett again. She was fully disguised. Following a short distance behind me, I sighed softly and walked into the airport lounge. She sat directly behind me, watching me silently through her sunglasses. I pretended not to notice, put on my headphones, and quietly waited for boarding. Just before my departure, I received an unexpected call. "Mr. Sterling." "Ethan, there's no need to be so formal. Wouldn't Uncle Sterling be more personable?" Mr. Sterling's tone had lost its previous sharpness. I glanced at Scarlett, then replied coolly, "We're not that close. It's more polite to address you as Mr. Sterling." Hearing my reply, Scarlett clutched the white dress she was wearing. I caught Scarlett's subtle movement out of the corner of my eye, but I showed no reaction, still saying lightly, "Mr. Sterling, if you have something to say, just say it directly." The other end of the line suddenly went quiet. Then, Mr. Sterling's sigh echoed. "Ethan, if I apologize to you now, would you be able to give Scarlett another chance?" I was about to speak, but Mr. Sterling interrupted. "Don't be so quick to refuse. Please hear me out first. You and Scarlett have been together for so many years. I admit I always looked down on you before, but I never tried to obstruct your relationship. Scarlett was pampered and spoiled since childhood, and I always thought her feelings for you were just a phase. After all, you weren't from the same social class. But since she broke up with you, the child has never recovered, and her health even started to decline. As a father, it pained me deeply to see it. If anything I did in the past displeased you, I sincerely apologize now. I only hope you can consider your past affection and give Scarlett another chance." I put my phone on speakerphone and stood up, facing Scarlett. "Mr. Sterling, Scarlett, since that's the case, I'll reiterate today, from now on, Scarlett and I will have no relationship other than strangers." The day I left, Scarlett cried herself unconscious in the airport lounge. When she fell, her sunglasses dropped off, revealing her beautiful face. All the men rushed forward to check on her. Seeing this, I deleted the emergency number from my phone screen and left, dragging my suitcase. My heart remained uneasy until the moment I lined up to board, always afraid the Sterlings would come to bother me again. It wasn't until I was seated on the plane that my restless heart finally settled down. Gazing at the blue sky and white clouds outside the window, I finally felt a sense of ease. After the plane landed, as I breathed in the foreign air, I suddenly felt an urge to shed tears. I sniffled, suppressed the unease in my heart, and smiled as I walked towards the senior student, who had come to pick me up. During my time abroad, I immersed myself in intense studies, and the unwanted thoughts in my mind were completely replaced by the complex coursework. If it hadn't been for a transatlantic call I received late one night, I would have almost completely forgotten about Scarlett. Hello. Is this Ethan? Ms. Scarlett has just passed away. Before she died, she insisted I contact you. She wanted me to tell you, Ethan, in my next life, I definitely won't miss you again. The call ended. I was dazed for only a moment. After turning off my phone, I fell back asleep.